Hey guys, this is Justin from the Survival Review, and today I got a trailer review. They just released a trailer today for Texas Chainsaw 3D, the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And I want to talk about this because, for one, I'm a horror guy, and two, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is hands down one of my favorites. When it comes to like the slasher kind of movies, like Freddy and Jason and them, that's just definitely my second favorite under the original Halloween. That movie just is great. And this new one, which is not a reboot, and it's not a sequel to the recent reboots, the 2003 remake and the prequel they made called The Beginning, but a direct sequel to the original 1974 classic. And now that idea intrigued me, just because all they've been doing nowadays are just remakes and reboots. So I was interested to see something that might go back to the original and just that'd be cool and just get through this quickly. It's interesting how like every Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel has always been a direct sequel to the original. There's no real sense of continuity besides Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is a direct sequel to the original, and then 3, which is called Leatherface, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, isn't like directly, but it ignores 2. And then the Next Generation, I've never seen it, luckily, from what I've heard, is another direct sequel. Now, of the ones I've seen, Chainsaw Massacre, again, like I said, great. Chainsaw Massacre 2, I love it. Like, I get all the comedy that's going on there. I get what they're trying to, and I understand why people don't. I don't mind it. I can see why. Not people like, oh, you don't like Chainsaw Massacre 2? How dare you? I get it, but I love it. And Chainsaw Massacre 3, I thought it was okay. Just as a movie, it's alright. Ken Foree's in it. That's probably the best part. And besides that, it's kind of a forgettable movie. I have it on DVD, but I haven't watched it since I first saw it. And like I said, luckily, from what I've heard, have not seen The Next Generation. And I haven't seen the remake or the prequel. I've heard the remake's pretty good, but I haven't. But anyway, on to the trailer review. The trailer starts out with teenagers in like a van, just similar to the van in the first film, as they're stopping at one of the, I think probably the main characters like grandma's house. I'm assuming like the grandma like just died, so they're just like going to like go through the place or whatever. I don't know. And it's your typical bunch of teenagers. There's nothing. It's just what you would expect. You go into the house and then they kind of look around. And then we start like getting kind of like glimpses of stuff happening. And honestly, the trailer is really underwhelming, to say the least. It's a dull trailer, I'll put it that way. It's bad. The best shot, there's actually a really cool shot where a person is like, it's like being hung up, like they're hung up like with their arms up there. And Leatherface like walks up behind him with a chainsaw, kind of like sets it on his shoulder, and that part's creepy. But the rest of the trailer, it's just your same old generic horror, and it's kind of crappy. I mean, like I was expecting them to like kind of put a little more effort into the trailer. I mean, not a trailer. I mean into what it looks like from the first trailer. It's only the first trailer, so you never know. But from what it looks like, it feels like they kind of just like, oh, people are going to think we're weird if we're doing another reboot of this series, so let's just call it a sequel to the original, and then it'll feel a little more legit. But that's what just felt like, just try to like gather in fans and be like, oh, it's a sequel to the original. And it doesn't really work. It looks kind of similar to the 2003. I've seen scenes from the 2001. It looks kind of similar. But there's not really much gritty style. It looks like it's kind of like trying to be gritty, when you can tell it's really not. It's really like polished and like looks really modern and stuff. Which from what it looked like, the remake looked pretty gritty from some of the stuff I saw. I'm not sure. So this one, the whole gritty look is gone. And like I said, I thought they were going to put more effort into it, and the fact that it stars Bill Moseley, who played Chop Top in Chainsaw 2. But he's a great actor who was in Devil's Rejects and House of Thousand Corpses and a ton of other stuff. And he's in the movie, and that was great. Plus, we got cameos by Gunnar Hansen, the original Leatherface, and Marilyn Burns, who was the original heroine in the first film. So with those stuff, I felt like they were gonna like really try to make it look, like try to make it kind of like feel and everything, like make it feel like it's gonna be a big movie. But honestly, from this trailer, I'm not seeing. And I mean, it could be because it's the first trailer, you know, like this is kind of a bad example because the movie ended up sucking. But the first trailer for Green Lantern was terrible. Like it was just a bunch of like comedic moments and then a brief glimpse of the costume when it was like early stage CGI. The costume still doesn't look great, but early stage CGI just looked bad. I mean, the movie's better than that trailer. Put it that way. And it looks like maybe this could be the case because the movie comes out in January, so we still have another few months to at least to at least get one more trailer out there and kind of show that this movie may be worth it. But judging from this trailer, it doesn't. It's just a ton of like quick shots of like just generic horror, like people hiding in the van and Leatherface is slashing at the van. You're like, oh okay. At the end, this girl's like in a cemetery, and it's kind of creepy. I can hear just the chainsaw in the background. That's a little creepy. But then there's like an open coffin and she hides in there, closes the thing, and then it cuts away. And so it cuts back and you hear the chainsaw and it's coming through the coffin. And you're like, whoa! I did not see that. I mean, it was kind of blunt. And like I said, like I was kind of interested, even though like I don't like how it is a direct sequel to the original, and the fact that to me Chainsaw 2 will always be the direct sequel to the original. It'll always be, to me, it's always going to be Chainsaw 1 and 2 as a series. And hopefully we can get a review of that in October, me and Sam maybe, but like it's always been that, so I just feel weird that I'm like, I'm going to watch this one, it's going to just ignore the second one. It would have been cool if it was a direct sequel to the second. Kind of like, almost like a trilogy-ish. But from the way it's looking, not. And another thing I noticed that's funny is that they didn't even mention the 3D. It's just an average movie trailer, and then it goes, Texas Chainsaw 3D. You're like, oh, 3D. Like, there's no, like, gimmicky shots of the chainsaw coming into the camera. There's nothing. And I don't care, because I don't care for 3D. I will see this movie in theaters, no matter how bad it looks. That's how I am. But I'm not going to see it in 3D. No way. So, and like, there was a lot, like, going for it. They released a recent poster. I mean, they released a teaser poster a while ago, which is just like a generic image of just like the side of Leatherface holding a chainsaw. But they released one a few weeks ago where it's like all these kind of like cut faces just sitting on like shelves, and it looks creepy. It looked good. They released an image that's just like a kind of like far away kind of shot of Leatherface, just the back of him walking. And it was kind of eerie, and it kind of worked. So I'm like, cool. Then I saw the trailer. So in general, that's the Texas Chainsaw 3D trailer. If you want to check it out, I'll post a link for it. It doesn't look anything good. Like I said, I hope it's just because of the fact that it's the first trailer. Hopefully, this next trailer comes on, we'll get more stuff, more footage, and maybe it'll look more interesting. But at this point, it just looks like generic horror crap. And I mean, that's not good. Practically. So yeah, that's the Texas Chainsaw 3D. What's up with that title, too? Like, I mean, I guess like calling it Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, but they could like have some more interesting like Chainsaw Massacre 3D. But now it's just like Texas Chainsaw 3D. Like, if you just say it without the 3D, it just sounds stupid. Anyway, that's the Texas Chainsaw 3D trailer, and yeah, talk to you later.